Let's do this one instead. Hi everyone, it's Jennifer Beaumont-Whyte here with another BU interview, and today we're going to be talking to Hyacinth Myers, and we're going to be learning all about her crowdfunding project which helps women in adversity to be able to take part in her E.M.P.O.W.E.R program. Now, before we go into that, if you love what you see on this video, please share it, like it, spread the word, because usually on these interviews we have people who have been through some adversity and are now doing their business their way, and it has helped so many people to get some information and insight on how they can do it themselves as well and get through their adversity. So like and share, and please, if you have any comments and questions, please leave them in the comments box below, and Hyacinth and myself will answer anything that you have to say or share anything you have to say. So today we're going to be talking to Hyacinth Myers. As I said, she's an intuitive empowerment coach, and she mentors women who have been through adversity, and she helps them to create their life by design or recreate their life by design regardless of their adverse story. And she does that through her programs, through talks, and through her videos, etc. So Hyacinth, welcome, and let's find out all about you and what we've got to what you're doing today. Yeah, so Hyacinth, just tell us a little bit about how we actually met, because this is really crazy as well.
Well, yes, we actually met at an event which actually was quite an inspiring event from what I remember as well. I can't even remember the topic, but I just remember there were a number of speakers, and I was quite drawn to you. And then we started talking about families, backgrounds, and we found out our families are from the same part of the world, similar, same surname, so we may even be related. So it is quite a bizarre story. But we actually found on that day, because I went to that event and I didn't know anybody, you were one of the first people who was really welcoming and friendly to me and spoke to me and made me kind of feel more relaxed. And I had a fantastic day at that conference, actually. So thank you.
Oh, you're totally welcome. So now we call each other cousin, because the Myers name, my grandfather's name was Myers, and you're obviously your surname was Myers. But I don't think it's, I think it's through your father, or is it
through my father's side, yeah.
Yeah, so we got to delve deeper into that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let us start with your story, because you have a crowdfunding project. So let's find out about the what you're doing with this crowdfunding project as well, because it's really interesting and it's very, very important. I'm really inspired by this.
Yes, I've currently got a crowdfunding campaign up, and it's actually to help women that have been through a lot of adversity, just to overcome their story and to be part of the E.M.P.O.W.E.R program. The actual program is a program that I've written that's really dear to me, actually, because most of my story has been adversity, and whereas before I used to hide what I thought was the broken parts, I'm now using my experiences to mentor women and coach women through overcoming their story, just so that they can create their life. Yeah, so that's what the crowdfund is actually about. It's about that, and also to publish the E.M.P.O.W.E.R book that's actually being written at the moment.
Fantastic. So the E.M.P.O.W.E.R, I mean, E.M.P.O.W.E.R apparently it's an acronym for the various elements in your program. So could you just explain what each of those elements are?
Yes, it's actually a 7-module program that's over 7 weeks. And the first module is the E, which is about embracing. So that's all about embracing where you're from, your story, and actually just looking at your story and unpicking it from almost like an outsider's view. The second module is about motivating, because really I think when we've been through a lot of adversity, and when we're going through adversity, the thing that really stops women getting stuck in their story is to find ways to motivate themselves and know that obviously there is light at the end of the tunnel. So that is, the motivating is used in things like vision boards, guided meditations and stuff like that. The P is about the power and about taking back the power regardless of the story. And I quite openly share my story with the women. So, being born in a council estate, in a house of domestic violence, and various other really kind of serious adversities I've been through as a woman as well. And all of those help people really just take back the power and owning the story, and knowing that the story does not have to stop you there. It doesn't have to lead to depression and staying in that. Sometimes there'll be periods where you might have to be like insular and stay away from people as you rebuild yourself and like find yourself again.
Yeah.
But you don't have to actually stay in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the fourth module is about, I'm just trying to find where I am, E.M.P. is
Oh.
about the actual overcoming the adversity. So that's like the practical tools of actually overcoming while you're in a challenging situation. And that's something I seem to do with a lot of women. Actually, there's 2 women at the moment I'm doing that with, who are going through really tough challenges actually, and with health. And I'm just kind of, I find I always end up being drawn to these women naturally and able to help and inspire them while they're going through that journey, even if it's like if the parent just recently died of a bereavement, or if there's illness with a close family member.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't really see that as work, but that's something for me that's always been it's always been around me. So I do that almost like second nature. So
Yeah.
I thought sharing what I do and how I do that, and how I've overcome my own serious adversities really
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
really useful.
Yeah.
Fifth module is about wellness. So that actually looks at your wellness, mind, body and spirit, because when we're going through a lot of adversity, I mean, we all react differently. My first reaction usually used to be to not eat and not feed myself properly. And I
Yeah.
know there are women like that will not eat or overeat, who won't have regular exercise. But it's things like that that really do help us get through those times.
Yeah.
Because when we stop and we don't do anything, then we feel even worse, and then the adversity gets amplified.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the wellness is important. The sixth element is actually the E, which is about the emotional intelligence, and just actually understanding that regardless of the situation or how others are treating you, you really need to get to a point of being a bit more emotionally intelligent, and also a bit more emotionally resilient, so that you can kind of overcome those things and without them affecting you so much. Because I used to be a very emotional person, and even though I'm still quite emotional, I don't get embroiled in those emotions as much now. The way I choose to live my life and create my life is very different, and a lot of that has been used in meditation. So it's meditation and a lot of reflective journaling we'll do around that module. And then the last module is about resilience, and basically how overcoming your story and then reusing it to help other women can kind of, like send out that effect, so that it can kind of create a mass movement. Because for me, the Empower7 movement is not about me helping loads of women and then selling other programs to them, and then after that I've got a lot of dependent women. It's about me creating women who start embracing their life, who are empowered, and then they go out and start empowering other women. Even, like, because some of the women, I'm assuming, will come across maybe some of their passions, because it's on a personal development journey, will
Yeah.
come across businesses they might set up, and they'll use it all and use their story and use everything they've learned in their life, because I'm teaching them an aspect and reflecting them back to their life as well. I'm not actually teaching them a
Yeah.
lot of what they don't know.
Yeah.
So it's for them to then go out and just make waves, so that it creates like a
Fantastic.
mass movement.
That is something that is really, like, that's an element that's really dear to my heart as well. It's a similar sort of thing in terms of the way I'm working with my entrepreneurs. It's like, okay, I'm going to I want to affect the world. I want to change the world, but I can't do it on my own. So each one of my people that I work with, I help them to be strong enough in themselves to touch other people. So if I touch 1,000 people and I teach another 1,000 people to those people to touch another 1,000 people, and it just ripples out into the world. And I think that's how we are going to make a huge big difference, rather than have us as the central point and we're going to affect 1 million people like Jesus kind of thing. It's like each one touch one kind of thing. And I think that's really a really brilliant element. And so this is what your crowdfunding element is all about as well. So this
Yeah.
is, so in terms of, let's sort of backtrack a bit and go delve a little bit deeper into your own
Hmm.
story. So tell us a bit about your journey and how you come to put the whole Empower 7 together, because your story is quite interesting. And this is what drew me to you in terms of all the things that you've been through. And I'm thinking, wow, you're still standing. That's incredible.
Hmm.
So how have you got through your story?
My story, it feels like my story was quite a long story, actually. So I grew up in an estate in Hackney, which at the time was the most notorious estate in the borough. It doesn't stand anymore, actually. Grew up in a house where there was a lot of domestic violence, and at the age of 16 we left and went into women's refuge. For me, I feel like that was the end of like a really bad chapter, which was most of my childhood, I feel, but
Mm-hmm.
also the beginning of a new lease of life. But
Yeah.
what that kind of did, because I'd grown up in that kind of chaos,
Mm-hmm.
and by then I'd had a lot of negative kind of programming. Probably about, I think from about the age of 16 to 21, about 5 years, I was in a lot of chaos, and then a lot of situations that were just really not very nice were drawn towards me, and I experienced quite a lot of other adversity
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
during that time,
How
which
many
was
of there
also
were
quite
you?
abusive.
How many is there?
There's four children, so I
Yeah.
was the oldest, and also being the oldest, I felt the most responsibility as well
Mm-hmm.
for my mum, because even though my mum is a wonderful woman, I felt like she was becoming a broken woman, and I
Yeah.
had to look after her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even though I physically didn't have to look after her, mentally I felt like I always used to take on a lot, and because I was also, and still am, a very sensitive person,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I found that quite hard. And then I almost like became like the person helping my mum through that. So it felt like me and my mum were similar ages there, like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
helping her through that while we managed like my siblings as well.
That sounds, yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds similar to my stories, because I'm the eldest of five, and my mum had partners who were not very nice people, should I say?
Hmm.
And the last, before my wonderful stepdad right now, the last person was really sort of, he was always ill, so she had to be working like three jobs, and because she was out all the time working these three jobs, I had to be the one looking after my siblings, so I became a second mum as well. So I understand that,
Yeah.
but I didn't go through the heavy duty adversity that I know that you've been through in your
Mm.
background. So yeah, so well done you. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, and then my kind of story has led on from there of like, other experiences. And then at the age of 33, I mean, at the age of 26, becoming a single mother, which was
Mm-hmm.
not the story I wanted to have. And even though a lot of people don't really see that as an adversity, for me, I do, and I always did, because I do think that the child needs both
Yeah.
parents. And when you
Yeah.
kind of set out to have a child, you really, most of the time, you don't set out to be a single parent. So
Yeah.
um, the challenges along with that, and then raising a boy for me was like one of the hardest things, because of the relationships that I'd had with men, and
Yeah.
also with, like how I was brought up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then later on, at the age of 33, becoming a single mother again, but this time pregnant with twins, and then losing my youngest son when he was 3 weeks old. So
Yeah.
it just feels like it's been a life of kind of stories. But when I look back on it, I
Mm-hmm.
think also there was a lot of, my programming was very negative talk to myself. So everything I used to say was my fault. I'm not lucky.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of self-blame. Um, and it kind of took me a number of years to work through. And a lot of the way I worked through it was with using a lot of holistic therapies, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of personal development techniques,
Yeah.
because I started really looking into personal development from about the age of 18, and then
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
shifting in and out of it. And I'm listening to a lot of different
Looking.
speakers, going to see people, yeah, talking to a lot of people much older than me as well, who'd been on certain paths and
Yeah.
journeys.
Yeah.
And so for me, it just feels like when people kind of, especially when now they talk about personal development like a new thing, I
Yeah.
think I've
Been there,
in the
done that.
personal development for about 28 years. And even though I've actually been through my adversity, I think it's getting to understand me that really has been the changing kind of and the
Yeah,
driving force really between creating my life.
yeah.
Otherwise, I would have just
And
carried on as being stuck.
yeah. Have you found, because I've found through all my adversity and personal development and training and everything, have you found, because I'm coming to the realization that there is no improvement to make. We're perfect as we are in the beginning anyway. I mean, it's just about a matter of finding our true selves and getting rid of all the stuff that's been put on as layers and going back to the real core. Well, actually, I'm okay. All of this other
Yeah,
stuff is just an illusion, really. What's going on inside is really who I am, and I just need to get back to me. I just need to get back to the real core me and let everything else go.
yeah,
But there's ways and ways of doing that. There's techniques and ways that, of getting back to the real empowerment of yourself, just really being
hmm,
real core you. And this is what your program's all about, which is
yeah.
brilliant, amazing. Yeah. So how is
Yeah.
the sorry if is there any, would you want to relay more story, or would you like to just talk about how the crowdfunding is, what that's about? Because there's not everybody that can actually afford to go through personal development and pay for personal development for themselves to get to where you or I are.
Yeah.
How's crowdfunding come around?
Yeah, so that basically that is why I'm crowdfunding. So I launched the Empower 7 last year, March, which was actually a really great success. And I've been doing the workshops, but I've been doing their modules individually. I haven't done
Okay.
the full program yet. The actual full program runs over just under £350, and for me, because my background also, which I haven't said actually, has been mostly in community work and helping people, working in fields really where people are more disadvantaged. I hate saying helping actually, because I used to be one of the people that they said was disadvantaged from the inner city.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the label. But I know that there are some women that really could do with accessing the program that just can't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
The single modules are good, and I'll restart running them, mostly with organisations now actually.
Mm-hmm.
There will be and then I'm going to start a 4-hour workshop that's like a general overview so that people know what the whole program's about.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think the program's really needed, and I want some of the women who really need it and can't afford it to be able to access these partial, practically full scholarships.
yeah,
Because for me, a lot of my work personally, and a lot of my, my personal work to overcome my story had to wait a number of years before I actually had the money to do that myself. And
mm-hmm.
I just think, because I really, the program has been born out of like meditation, dreams, my own work, my own life. I don't want somebody to take 20 something years to get to where I am and spend thousands of pounds like I
Yeah,
did. I want
yeah,
them to be able to do it. And even though 7 weeks sounds a short time, if you kind of strip back that with like 7 4-hour sessions, and then you
mm-hmm.
really start looking at you, in those 4 hours you're looking at yourself,
Yeah,
nobody else. You're not mum, you're not sister, you're not wife. You're
yeah,
looking at yourself, what you want, what you've
mm-hmm.
been through, and you're making sense. And it's almost like, for me, it probably sounds a bit I don't know, unusual, but for me it feels like it's a puzzle of yourself and you're
Yes,
putting it back together over the
yeah,
weeks. And
yeah,
then from there, that's why I can't say, I know it's going to transform women, and
yeah,
it's going to transform women so individually. I can't say it's going to transform them this way, because it's actually going to be a very personal journey for all the women. But I know the women that I've come across already, even just doing the 1-hour workshops,
mm-hmm.
the one module workshops that are the
Yeah,
4 hours, have said how they feel transformed already and
yeah,
how
yeah.
I've encouraged them. So
Fantastic,
yeah, I know this
fantastic. So
is
you
my
actually
life's work actually.
more women to actually experience that. And I know exactly what you mean about in terms of having to wait to get the money together to do the next course or the next learning and the next, because I've been there myself, and I've spent literally thousands over the years to
Mhm.
get to be the person that I am now, and actually teaching and reflecting out to my clients. And how many women are you looking to have on your scholarship? Because 350, how many women are you crowdfunding for, and what's the target?
I'm actually crowdfunding for a minimum of 7 women.
Okay.
So it's not actually a high number, it's a minimum of 7.
Yeah.
The crowdfund also, yeah, includes the book as well. So my
Yeah.
minimum target is 7,000, £7,000. So yeah, the women won't pay more than probably £49 for the 7-week program, and that's literally the price I was charging for one module for the 4-hour session.
Yeah. So you're really keeping it really low and really
Yeah,
affordable, accessible,
accessible.
because
Yes.
yeah, when people are in crisis or in trauma or whatever, and they're in that zone, they, you know, if they've got to wait to get a whole bunch of money together to get out of it, they could be it could just tip them over the edge. Whereas if they can get into something that's really
Mhm.
affordable, really accessible right now, just need to speak to someone, just need to get out of where I'm at, and change their lives, it affects so many other people's lives. It affects their children,
Mhm.
affects their parents, their community, their friends, and that ripple effect is accessed sooner rather than later. And that person
Yeah,
can hold themselves up and as an example to be able to help other people as well. So the more women that
yeah,
can come to your course, the better, and sooner that the actual community and the country could be even better. You know, so yeah, it's
yeah.
a real worthwhile cause. So what's the whole overview of the crowdfunding then?
What do you mean, the overview?
So how do people get access to the crowdfunding? How much can they donate? When does it
Oh,
end?
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so the crowdfunding campaign actually ends on the 14th of September, and that's definite ending.
Hmm.
It's actually up on Crowdfunder, so we'll put the details
Yeah.
below afterwards. Um, yeah, so basically everything is on that page. There's more information about how to get hold of me as well, and
Hmm.
via my Facebook pages, and Instagram, and the website. So everything will be on the crowdfunder page, and the link will post in here.
Yeah. So what is your how can people get hold of you? Is it by email, website? What's your website address?
Oh, okay. So my web address is www.soul, SOUL, consciouscreations.com. And I've also got a business Facebook page, which is um, www.facebook.com, and it's slash Hyacinth J Myers. Yeah, once you kind of get onto the crowdfund page, you'll see all the other information. You are welcome to email me, to call. There's a phone number on there as well if you want to
Hmm.
find out more. Yeah, and just communicate how you want, really.
Fantastic. And you have a book that's coming out as well. So you're publishing a book all around the Empower 7. So is that book all is like a mini
Yes.
course, or is your story in there, or what's the book about?
The book it is the Empower 7 book. It will be launched International Women's Month 2019 in March next
Oh,
year.
yeah.
Um, and the book is actually it covers the modules in there. So it's also for people who are not going to maybe do the course, or who are interested in doing the course. So it'll cover the modules in there. But in amongst the modules and what the Empower 7 is about is also snippets of my story, and
Fantastic.
also quotes from other women who are just ordinary women. I'm
Yeah.
not getting quotes from any famous women, or yeah, people that I don't really know.
Yeah.
It's going to be some ordinary, that word, but yeah, ordinary women who've also been through adversity, and just some of their own quotes as well. So, and also bits and pieces of just a summary, basically, of a survey that I did with women, and talked about their adversity, and
Mhm.
what the findings of that survey was as well.
Fantastic. So you've got
Yeah,
double whammy thing going on. But the main thing right at this moment is the crowdfunding, which finishes on
crowdfunding.
September 14th, and you're
Yeah,
looking to raise £7,000, and there's lots of goodies and gifts and everything on there as well, plus the book. And the
yeah,
sooner Hyacinth can get to her target, the sooner women can be helped. People who are not in a good position. So share this video, share the crowdfunding link, share as much as possible, so that this movement can actually get out there, build the income that needs to be targeted. Because the thing is, with crowdfunding, I know that if anybody doesn't know about crowdfunding, if Hyacinth doesn't get her target, she gets nothing that's been donated at all. So the more, you know, because my son Desi did that for his one of his albums. He did a Kickstarter, and he had to get that target, otherwise anything that's been donated or pledged doesn't, you know, it's just gone. So make sure you share, you spread the word, and get this out there, because women are waiting to be helped, and Hyacinth has the empowerment to help so many people because of her own story, and she's getting great results from the people that she's actually working with as well. So so looking at, to recap, there's embracing your story, getting the motivation that you need, getting the power, getting the power to do what you need to do, overcoming your something. I know that I've got really bad notes here, but the overcoming is the O. Well, W is the wellness in mind, body, and spirit, and E is the emotional and intelligence, and R is resilience. You get all of that in the empowerment, the 7 modules of Empower 7, to help you change your life from adversity to, I used to say, adversity to celebrity when I used to do my interviews, my live interviews. But yeah, Hyacinth has got something really amazing going on here. She's a wonderful woman. So please share, like, comment, whatever it is you need to do to get the word out there about the crowdfunding for the Empower 7. And also look out for the book for next year. And yeah, this is brilliant. So anything else you want to say before we wrap up, Hyacinth?
Just that I would like to say, actually, thank you for having me. Also, if people are interested in having me speak or talk to any groups of women or any organisations, I'm available to do that. Also, if you've any interviews or podcasts that you think I might be interested in, or it might be interesting for the women that you work with, I'm available. So just get in contact if you need to. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. It's been a pleasure, Hyacinth. I'm so excited about what you're trying to do, what you're aiming to do, and what you are doing. It's, you know, I had to get this interview out there for you. So being you and just doing your thing your way is what I'm all about. So thank you so much for that. So anybody who would like to find out what I'm about, everything, I'll put the link to my website and my YouTube, so you can actually see the videos on YouTube as well, because this is going out on Facebook, YouTube, and on my website. So yeah, share, like, spread the word on these interviews as well. So that's me, Jennifer Beaumont-Whyte, signing off from the BU interview with my wonderful guest, Hyacinth Myers, the intuitive empowerment coach for empowering women. So thank you so much.
Thank you.